can travelers experience a bit of lost American history, discover cultural and scenic beauty, and enjoy a 3-course gourmet meal in just over 3 hours. The Spirit of Washington Dinner Train. The journey begins approximately 12 miles southeast of Seattle in the city of Renton, Washington. Originally home to Duwamish Indians, this old coal mining town is the perfect starting point for a trip by antique railway. Stepping out of the depot is like opening an old photo album. Each car a distinct member of an adopted family with their own birthplace and unique history. First to greet the anxious travelers is one of 2 F9 locomotives. Originally owned by the B&O line, these diesel electrics carry their family of dinner cars 44 miles round trip along the Pacific Northwest track. Some of the siblings include twin sisters, the Cascade and Chateau Ste. Michelle, both built for the Santa Fe Railroad in 1937. The 3 show-offs of the family are the Dome cars, named after the trip's scenic views. Mount Rainier was built for the Union Pacific in 1952. The City of Renton Superdome was built to unite cities along the Pacific, St. Paul, Chicago, and Milwaukee railroads. And the City of Seattle car was used on the Super Chief train, which ran between Chicago and Los Angeles. Lonely twin of the family, the Columbia Winery car, was built in 1938 for the Santa Fe Railroad. It's the only remaining model of the 2 of its kind ever built. But what about the journey of the Spirit and how this dinner train came to find a home along the Burlington-Santa Fe Railroad?
Back in 1988, the Temple family, who owned Washington Central Railroad in Yakima, Washington, decided that on Labor Day they were going to run a small dinner train on rodeo weekend. And due to the success of that weekend, they decided to run it more often on the weekends between Yakima and Ellensburg. And Eric Temple, one of the sons, decided that it would be very successful in a larger community, so brought it up here to Seattle in 1992, and we've been running ever since.
Now operating year-round, the dinner train can carry as many as 370 passengers each trip. Starting at the southern end of Lake Washington, the locomotive winds along one of the Pacific Northwest's most scenic shorelines. As passengers unwind, the smell of apple horseradish and apricot ginger glaze fill the cars. Dinner choices attract every palate, from prime rib and oven-roasted chicken breast to cherry-smoked salmon and polenta marinara. As beautiful as the plated presentations, the views along the freshwater lake are just as breathtaking. Connected to the Puget Sound by ship canal, Lake Washington stretches its arms 27 miles long and 3 miles wide and protects the inhabitants of Mercer Island. After dinner, it's a bit of a thrill crossing the Mercer Trestle Bridge. Built in 1891 and with a 102-foot drop, respect for the timber and its builders can be felt on board. Or perhaps passengers are silently praying for solid construction as the train rumbles along the 975 feet of wooden trestle. As the train pulls closer to its final stop, travelers are treated to the state's historical and cultural beauty, not only in the scenery, but also again through their taste buds. For a 45-minute stop in Woodinville, there's time to sample wine and tour the cellars of one of Washington State's first premium vineyards.
This winery was founded in 1962 by a group of 10 local gentlemen, 7 of whom were University of Washington professors, 3 local Seattle businessmen. So in 1962, they founded Associated Vintners, which is now known as Columbia Winery. David Lake joined us in 1979. David is our winemaker. He holds a certification of Master of Wine, only one of approximately 300 plus people that have passed this certification process since 1953.
After savoring the final stop of their journey and happy to stretch their legs, passengers are ready to climb back on board the Spirit of Washington. This family of cars, full of history and now new memories, seems ready to return home. Rail riders are greeted by a final delicious choice. Should it be chocolate paradiso or Washington apple crisp?